Kind of hard to kick off that little jam. Gotta love the Rage Against the Machine covering Bruce Springsteen. And I've been talking tech. Plan to teach military robots the rules of war. I got this off of a link off of Facebook, but I think it's off of Weapons and Technology. Technology has always distanced the soldiers who use weapons from the people who get hit. Exactly. But robotics engineer Ron Arkin at the Georgia Institute of Technology, Atlanta, is working to imagine wars in which weapons make their own decisions about wielding lethal force. That's dangerous. You don't put the decision in the hands of an automated robot. I don't care what kind of ethics you think you're going to be able to teach it. He is particularly interested in how such machines might be programmed to act ethically, obeying the rules of engagement. The rules of engagement is that the people engaging the populace make the rules. They decide who gets bombed and who doesn't. Arkin has developed an ethical governor, which aims to ensure the robot attack aircraft behave ethically in combat, and is demonstrating the system in simulations based on recent campaigns by U.S. troops using real maps from the Middle East, because the Middle East is the beta test for these drones. And then as far as that smart grid, that carbon tax that we talk about all the time, is energy bills to hit 4,000 pounds a year. This one's out of the UK. Right now, the average bill is about $1,200. They say it's going to be about $4,200 in less than 10 years. And by the way, you're going to be using less energy. So really, it's going to be more than quadrupling for power under this new smart grid system. Can anybody say enslavement? Can anybody say it? Maybe we'll spell it. E-N-S-L-A-V-E. I can't wait to be a slave. All right, let's go to Taylor in Texas. Taylor, you're on the line.
What a wonderful singing voice, Jason. Hey,
yes.
Man, I've got to say, you and Alex, God bless y'all. Everything for y'all. I think this is awesome what y'all are doing. First-time caller. I wanted to say to these guys that really think that they're going to be able to take on the system, I've been a Boy Scout for over 11 years. I've gone through some of the most strenuous altitude environments, weeks and weeks at a time, carrying what you can carry on your back, and that's what you're living off of. I've thought, comprised lists of all kinds of different gear, items, and everything. You can't fathom what you could possibly encounter out there. So there's no way you can really say, oh, I can take it. Oh, I can just defend myself. Oh, I'm going to be able to take on a drone. It's insane. it's really like it just doesn't.
To me, it's more than delusional, man. I'm looking at real solutions to the problem, and those guys out there that think that some kind of crazy A-team squad across the country is going to be able to form up, or multiple A-team squads, or vigilante groups.
Happen, man.
It's not plausible. The weaponry they have to stop us is too great. We don't have, there's no one out there walking around with small-scale nuclear weapons, nor should there be. But the tyrants in control have them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
It's what y'all, it's what y'all press on all the time. It's a war on for your mind. The only thing that's going to win this war is your mind. Mm-hmm. You've got to get out there. You've got to think. You've got to think on your toes. You've got to use your mind. You've got to put the information out there, preach it, let people know what's really out there, And to go on to another point, about this past February, I was at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
Okay.
And I'm in a recruiting tent, and I decided, I'm going to ask these guys some questions. Actually, they had a really cool, have you ever seen those Humvee simulator games and stuff like that they can play?
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, oh, cool, I want to play the video game, because I've done one once before, like an aircraft one.
Sure.
They're fun. And so I said, all right, let's go check it out. And they, give me this card that asked me for all kinds of personal information. And then it got to a Social Security number. And I'm like, no, sir. What do you need this for? They would never answer my question. And then, long story short, I was, bad idea, but I said, okay, thanks, guys. I got this recorded, and I just walked away. I didn't have a recorder on me or anything. Go off with my friends, and we walk around, and I bought some sunglasses. Long story short, I'm walking back on my way to the truck. 3 of them, they're standing outside the tent, and it was literally like, there he is, get him. And they came, grabbed me, held me down on the ground, twisted my arms behind my back, held me down for a police officer to come and get me. And I spent the night in jail on a false charge for public intoxication. And, and the judge sees me the next morning. He said, oh, well, we can't prove this. There's no, there's nothing here, so I'm just going to have you down as time spent, and we're going to drop the charges. They're going to get you no matter what. you think you can stand up to these people? You got another thing coming.
Well, you can stand up, but you got to realize that by standing up, there are consequences. But those consequences will be much greater if we really don't stand up. And it's unbelievable to me that they had to put you in jail because you refused to give them the Social Security number on their slave grid device that's posing as a video game, and that's exactly what it is. Like I said, man, now that they have two open weapons, one in the air, a type of drone, and I believe it's the Ripsaw, that are being controlled right now by Xbox 360 controllers. They are really indoctrinating the youth and banking on them to be the next level of soldier to perform their robotic technopoly tyranny. I thank you for the call. Cody in Oklahoma. Cody, you are on the line.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you saw the Reuters article about Ford and Nissan getting loans from the federal government.
No, but it wouldn't surprise me. They are two of the companies that have not gone with this bailout yet. Yeah.
Right.
But they're getting money now from the federal government? Go ahead, tell me about it.
Well, I just kind of glanced through the news today. There's always something interesting to find, and it's not near as significant as GM or Dodge had, but I have a feeling it could, the way they keep doing things, they like to go small and then big.
Mm-hmm.
But
so you think this is kind of like the soft announcement that we're about to fail too?
Yeah, that's what I think.
It's very possible. I mean, you look at Chrysler. How did Chrysler restructure? Well, they're no longer an American company. They're a North American company, and they've got two bases out of their 7. They're down to only 7 plants, and 2 of them are in Canada, and 1 of them are in Mexico. And boy, Chrysler's going to have an awfully tough time getting around the country with all their parts if we don't have this North American Union and these SPP superhighways. So we better get to building them. And if Ford goes by the wayside as an American company and becomes a North American company, we better build them twice as fast. So that's a very great observation. I have not seen that article yet. What else you got for me?
Well, I just found it amusing that it says at first, the U.S. Ford company, blah, 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 and it gives quite a bit. And then kind of towards the bottom it starts talking about, and we gave Japan money, a Japanese company money, and Tesla Motors, which I
did see that
before.
article. I just didn't print that out. Yes, no, when I was going through Reuters and the Wire story, I saw that as a headline, but I didn't know what to make of it. I'll elaborate on it tomorrow after I read through it. Thank you for the call, Cody. Let's go to Daniel in California. Daniel, you're on the line.
Hi.
Hello.
Yes, I kind of had a similar experience to one of your guests that was on a little while back. I went into Social Security office here in Fresno, California, and it happened to be a little bit before they opened, and I standed in line, and the security guard came out and started put his hand on his gun and said, "Now, we got a few rules here before you step into our office."
Oh, jeez.
With his hand on his gun.
And what were those rules, sir? That you bow down to the authorities, or what was it? Tell us about the draconian experience that you had with this Lord officer.
The first rule was that if you have a cell phone, you have to turn your cell phone off before going into the building.
Ridiculous and ludicrous. Continue.
And he also said that if you have, ladies, if you have a pepper spray, or gentlemen, if you have tasers, you must take those back to your car because now by law, it's not illegal for you to have it, but you can't bring it into our facility, which is an oxymoron.
Yeah, which isn't really even true. That's one of their little regulations. That's their color of law, Johnny Nonsense. What else you got for me?
And also, when we enter the building, we are to keep our mouths closed and no conversations unless we are talked to.
And you wonder why I say they treat us like we're children. They are literally treating you like a second grader who's walking to the lunchroom and getting ready to go into line to get their slave meal. I mean, they're literally treating you like an 8-year-old child right there. And that's how the public acts. We do suck on our thumbs, and we just accept everything that's put out in the mainstream media and every talking point, no matter how contradictory, no matter how many times they change it up, no matter how hard it gets out there, we're just going to accept that. You can't talk in a government building, boy. That's, they had the same. I went up to the DMV today in Texas. It's not even the DMV. It's like the Department of Public Safety, DPS or something like that. And they've got all these signs up there, too. Turn off your cell phone. I'm like, turn off your cell phone. Listen, If a cell phone rings and somebody wants to have a conversation, just don't have it when you're sitting there talking to the teller. What's the harm? Well, why don't I have a First Amendment right in the DMV? It's ridiculous, and I'm with you 100%, sir. Thank you for the call. Let's go to Kenny in Washington. Kenny, you're on the line.
Jason, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, man, I just wanted to say, for one, thanks for turning me on to Revere Radio.
Cool.
I'm going to be starting up a show, Seattle Truth News. It's not up and running yet. All the
good luck, buddy.
Cool. So I just want to say thanks for that. And secondly, I just wanted to comment, you got people calling up all the time and saying, what can I do? What can I do other than telling my friends? Well, for one, for you also, but for people who are listening, I just want to say I am doing something, and it's really not as hard as one would think.